an educational series on cybersecurity, compliance, and IT governance. Produced with the support of Freedom Technologies, Phoenix's leading managed service provider.
Exchange servers, this was an interesting one. So the 0 days, within 5 minutes of Microsoft's announcement on March 2nd, it should be 5 minutes, scans were being launched looking for Exchange servers. So this just goes to show you how fast the attackers work. You can't afford to take your time. And again, I'll say it to this group, you can't afford for them to be lenient on patching. Patching, especially your perimeter, is not a we'll get to it when we can. It's something that people need to say, we know patches are coming. We need to prepare for them and get these systems patches and keep them patched continuously. A couple of vulnerabilities. Pulse, if you're running Pulse Secure, if you haven't patched already, you've probably been compromised. These were definitely very active out there, and it had a CVSS score of 10. So if you were vulnerable and you didn't patch, you've probably been compromised. Again, interesting paper came out of the UK's National Cybersecurity Agency. That's that first highlighted one. I encourage people to take a look at it. Listed 11 the report listed 11 flaws in products that are commonly being used by Russian attackers. And if you see any of your products listed in those 11 there, I would encourage you to download that paper. Hopefully you're very much already aware of it, but again, if you're not, you need to come up to speed very quickly on this. Now into our say what. Some of these I don't have any comments for. I just don't know where to go with it. Biden administration reportedly considering teaming up with private companies to monitor American citizens' private online activity and digital communications. Again, think it's interesting to bring that up, and I'll just leave that there. Remember all the stuff we did for COVID? Quick, let's set up software for contact tracing and all that. Well, turns out some of that may have had security issues and/or people just said, we'll fix it later. Again, you see from the highlighted section, several employees of Insight Global that ignored or purposely avoided security protocols. Again, interesting. It'd be interesting to hear the real story on this. You know, were they rushed to get the product out? Did they intend to come back and fix it later? Was it that they just didn't want to? But there's something more interesting that would be to find out on this one. We all heard the White House is, you know, they're going after ransomware, which leads us to our second one here, the U.S. to treat ransomware like terrorism. This will be interesting to watch. I'll just leave it at that. This is not a simple problem. Tracing ransomware back to who is truly accountable and doing something about it is difficult at best. We've been playing the attribution game for years, and I was one that played the attribution game, so I could understand TTPs. I still do find attribution very important for understanding some of the TTPs and knowing what level of skill my attacker is at. But at the same time, when it really comes down to protecting the network and protecting the data, quite honestly, I don't really care about the TTPs, because you can get mired in them and going, okay, well, is it this person or that person? What difference does it make if they're already in your network and or attacking you? It can help you guide you to what they may be doing, but attackers continuously change their profile, continuously. And again, as was pointed out in the earlier presentation, they live off the land. They're not bringing tools in. They're using your tools against you. They're staying in memory. They're not writing stuff to disk. So some of these things aren't necessarily going to help you in a response. They're actually going to slow you down. So while I think that there is definitely an appropriate place for attribution in TTPs, I would caution against saying, well, we've scanned for the latest TTPs from, you know, the pipeline attack and we're okay because we didn't see them. You're okay against that particular attack and those people and that binary or whatever tools they may have used. but all it takes is me adding a space to any one of the scripts, and the hash is different. So again, take it with a grain of salt. And again, what will our government do to protect us from ransomware? Part of me says that this isn't their responsibility. Part of me says that, if we have systems that are vulnerable, if we have systems that we have not been patching, if we've not been taking care of them, if we are not monitoring them, if we are allowing applications to sit out on the internet without being properly pen tested and code reviewed, we've kind of done this to ourselves. And that's where we need to draw the line and start taking a tougher stance on some of these things. So, but that's just my 2 cents. So so I don't rant on into Kim's time, I will stop right there. Anybody have any other good issues or things that have popped up? I saw today somehow the US government got back some of that ransom money, which will be interesting seeing the details on how they did that, since it was Bitcoin. But anyone else have any interesting topics?